How's it going, everybody? Welcome to We Do Tech. Now, recently I reviewed the Ducky One to Midnight Edition and then also the CK550 from Corsair. Both of them are really good keyboards ranging around $90 to $100 or 1,200 to 1,400 Rand. Even though they're functionally the same keyboard, they are quite a bit different. The CK550 is more of the gaming orientated with RGB and also more of a sleek design, whereas the Ducky One 2 has no lighting and has more of a simplistic design. So in effect, straight away you think that the CK550 should be the keyboard that you go for. But that might not be the case for a lot of people out there. Even though it's the same price range, these keyboards focus on different aspects. The CK550 looks the part, whereas the 1.2 feels the part. And what I mean by that is that instead of adding all of these gaming features like RGB, for example, the Ducky took the money they would have spent on that and actually added in a better and higher quality components. Now, a lot of you might already know everything that I'm going to talk about in this video, but with a somewhat younger gaming audience, I wanted to let them know where their money might be going when purchasing a keyboard, because some might not know that for their preference, there are better gaming keyboards out there. Now, also, there are a lot more affordable mechanical keyboards out there these days from the likes of like Red Dragon, which do deliver really good keyboards for the price. I just felt like these two keyboards might be a good base to go over the differences between these two designs. Also, I have to mention this, you do get LED and then also RGB Ducky keyboards, but of course you do pay more for that alongside the good build quality, and then it falls into a different price range. Then you can also go for a higher end gaming keyboard which might have some other features alongside better build quality like an USB and audio pass through. So for just off the comparisons, I'm comparing these two against each other at this price range, because I kind of feel like these two are a good equivalent. But now, just before we get into the video, if you guys are looking to get either one of these for yourself, definitely check out the links in the video description where you can get it on RebelTech if you live in South Africa, or Amazon. Also, if you do live in South Africa and you purchase a Ducky keyboard, you do stand a chance to win a Rage LAN ticket from RebelTech, so definitely check that out. But with all of that, let's get into the video. So now, first up, going over the build quality. Straight away, you will feel that the Ducky feels more durable and higher quality. It has an ABS, a plastic shell with a steel plate inside, which does add a ton of durability. On the other side, the CK550 also has a plastic body, but with this curved gunmetal aluminum top cover that helps to reflect RGB lighting a bit more, and then also adds more durability. Tapping around on the bodies, it does sound like the Ducky is weaker, especially underneath because it's a lot thinner there, but I do feel like the Ducky will be able to handle a far heavier beating, especially with that steel plate inside. But now, another build quality difference is between the keycaps. The Ducky uses a PBT plastic, which is double shot injected, whereas the CK550 and most other gaming keyboards out there these days uses a standard ABS plastic and a laser engraving. Now, these won't really affect your performance, or it's like the ABS is bad. The PBT just is more durable and feels better on your fingers with not as a smooth surface. There is also a slight audible difference between the two, with the PBT sounding a bit lower end and the ABS having a bit of a higher end. Again, the other aspects is between a double shot and a laser engraving. There are other methods as well, not only these two, but I'm focusing on these because they're the main ones actually used. With the double shot, it requires a separate mold for each color. This is more expensive and it takes longer, but it feels better. As for laser engraving, it is one of the more common methods in a backlit gaming keyboards, and that is to use a transparent keycap which is then coated with a black UV paint mixture, after which a laser then removes the paint. It still looks really good and also allows the backlight to shine through clearly, but you can slightly feel the engraving underneath your finger. Doesn't really bother me personally, but there are some people who are really finicky about that type of stuff, so just keep that in mind. Also, longevity is another factor. Double shot PBT will last a lot longer without like scratching or fading compared to laser engraved ABS. With ABS, your keycaps can get smoother after some time. You will have seen pictures of this, but honestly, it's not really that big of an issue between these two styles. It's more towards the printed ABS keycaps on the really cheap keyboards, where you will see that the text will just fade out completely after some time. Now, moving on to the switches, the Ducky uses the very popular Cherry MX red switches, while the CK550 uses the more affordable Gateron brown switches. These switches are more up to what you really prefer. Some people really like their Gateron switches, and again, vice versa as well. Honestly, for me, I would rather pay a bit less and still get like the really good switches. Even though it's a clone, you're still gonna get your 50 million click life cycle, and then still the stem is the same. So if you want to get some custom keycaps, you can just get any Cherry MX ones, and they're gonna work on the Gatorons as well. But if you want a bit more detail and sound test between all of the different switches, not only Cherry MX and Gateron, I will leave a link in the video description where you can check out Random Frank P's switch comparison video. So all of these different materials used does play a really big factor towards the final price. Double shot and PBT cost more, so if your keyboard has both of them, it's going to cost a lot more, whereas ABS and printed or ABS and laser engraved is a cheaper method, but it doesn't feel as great as the PBT. So both are good, it's just PBT is better in my opinion. But now, getting into one of the main differences between these keyboards, and that is lighting. Again, the Ducky One Midnight Edition that I have here does not have any backlight. You do get some, but this one does not. Whereas the CK550 is per key RGB backlit, and it really has some cool lighting effects, which for a lot of gamers is a must. So both of these keyboards have the standard set of features like media controls, macro recording, profiles, Windows key lock, and then also in-key rollover. But I do feel personally that the CK550 has more what I would personally use, and then also it's a lot easier to access. With the CK550, you can either do everything on the keyboard or in the software, which is really simple. Whereas with the Ducky, it kind of feels like it's more towards like IT guys who likes taking the long way around with no visual help at all and no software. And then the last aspect, and this is something that a lot of people might not really think of, is marketing. Marketing can add a hefty price towards the final product. Razer is a relatively good example of this. Cooler Master will most likely sell a lot more of the CK550 compared to a lot of the other Ducky keyboards, so they make more money there, but they also spend a lot more on marketing with esports and just advertisement and all of that, whereas Ducky, they won't sell as many, but they won't also spend that much on marketing. I personally have almost never seen a Ducky advert, so they save money there. So you don't really spend money, but you sell less, so you don't really make as much. So there's a lot of things that really goes into that. I don't really have all of the details, but yeah, that is a really big factor to the final price as well. So I've finally gone over all of the aspects between these two keyboards. Should the average gamer buy a Ducky keyboard rather than a gaming marketed keyboard like the CK550? And the answer is yes and no. I know there are a lot of gamers that use a Ducky keyboards for gaming, but from what I've seen, it's more relatively older guys that kind of still plays a lot of StarCraft 1, And that's honestly not a problem at all, because they do want something that's just really high quality, more polished than just a keyboard that's really brought out a ton with all of these gimmicky features like RGB and all of the gaming features. So for those, I can definitely understand that. And even though I'm definitely not one of them, I do love my RGB. I will definitely say that if you don't want, or if you don't like RGB, or you just might want a single color backlit, then these keyboards like the Ducky is definitely a keyboard you have to take a look at. There's no fancy RGB lighting or any features that you won't really use. You just get a really high quality product that's gonna last you years and years. But if you're just an average gamer who still loves their RGB, then the CK550 is the keyboard you probably have to go for, because yeah, it has RGB. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Again, I know some of you might already have known all of this, but I want to share this with some of the newer gaming guys who don't necessarily know everything, like the difference between this keyboard. They might see this and say, no, it's not really that great. So I just want to share that with them, because yeah, that's kind of my audience. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys thought of this video. If you liked it, please like, subscribe, and comment like always. And then I will see you guys in the next video. Cheers, guys.